All right, let's go. Katrin?
Nothing to say about that. We are on record now. Good morning, Ambassador. We are talking about today's meetings.
Well, first of all, I would like to say a word on an AOB that we are bringing to the Council. As chair of the Libya Sanctions Committee, I will bring an important matter to the attention of the Council. Many delegations have asked for the publication of the Panel of Experts interim report. This would create much-needed transparency. It would contribute to naming and shaming those who continue to blatantly violate the arms embargo, in spite of commitments that have been made. This would also strengthen the political process that we, as Germany, are supporting via the Berlin process, and it would be in accordance with the practice that we have on other sanctions committees. So I bring this to the attention of the Council because in the Sanctions Committee we have not been able to reach an agreement on this point. I hope that the two delegations who have problems with this will give green light. And you may have read which delegations I'm talking about. I read in the press that Russia and China have made statements on this. Well, I would also like to make a couple of remarks on Sudan. 3 points. First of all, this is the General Assembly week, and I think the fact that we are talking about the UNITAM's mission, a new mission here at the Security Council for the first time, is an encouraging signal. It shows what we can muster as Security Council if we get our act together, and this is one of the cases where we get our act together. Germany wants the Sudanese government to succeed. This is our policy on this. This is why in June we had an important conference which we hosted together with the Sudanese government and the United Nations, at which we were able to raise $1.8 billion US. Now it is important to make sure that the mission is fit for purpose. In the mandate, in Resolution 2524, we have given 4 areas of responsibility to the mission, and we want to make sure that it can fulfill its mandate in all these areas, namely in terms of a sufficient and adequate regional presence and in terms of human rights work, which we consider very important. This is what I wanted to share with you.
A question on Libya. Where do things stand with the appointment of a special envoy for the mission? And there's been some speculation that Nikolai Mladenov, may be the lead candidate, but there's some opposition apparently from the A3. Can you elaborate?
Let me say this much. Qassam Salameh, who did a fantastic job as an SRSG, has been out of office for way too long. This is why we urgently need a decision on the new special envoy. There is an agreement in the Council that there will be a special envoy, and we need an agreement urgently on who that is going to be. And I hope, and we are working towards, an agreement as soon as possible.
Mr. Ambassador, a few follow-up questions. First, on your efforts with trying to get the report released to the public, what's going to happen if Russia and China maintain their stance and refuse to have the report released? Is there any other option?
As chair of the Sanctions Committee, I am using every tool that is at hand in order to make sure that we have transparency on this issue. We need to name and blame and shame those who blatantly violate the arms embargo. You know, the rules of procedure of the Sanctions Committee foresee unanimity on these issues. As a chair, I can escalate that to the Security Council, which I'm doing now. As a chair, I can consult with delegations, which I have done. Let's see how the discussion on the Council goes today, and let me assure you that I will continue to use every tool at hand in order to make sure that we have the necessary transparency.
I think we would all appreciate a readout on what happens at the meeting today, how successful you are. The Council today is taking action on a Colombia resolution. What's the significance of that resolution?
Well, it's an important signal that we have been able to agree on the resolution. This is another step forward for Colombia, and we welcome that.
On the Sudan meeting, do you think that the UN has sufficient assurances that the military conflict situation will not escalate in Darfur?
This is a very important aspect. We are taking it very seriously. We have therefore asked the Secretariat to give us a report on that, which we are awaiting. And we continue to call on all political parties to engage in the peace process and in the negotiations and to implement those elements that have already been agreed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.